Hey folks, welcome back to Only the Best Fantasy Novels. My name is Robin, and today I want to talk about Looking Glass Song by Catriona, which is my latest read in my quest to read all the 2024 World Fantasy Award nominees. And holy crap, this book was good. Catriona deserves a standing ovation for this book. Like, what a ride. So, what is this book about? Essentially, while the Harlow returns back to a seaside village where he, almost 30 years after a incredible summer, he returns to a seaside village to write a book of the events of two summers that he spent there in his childhood, where he befriended two kids, and they inadvertently got embroiled in the mystery of a serial killer that was stalking the village. And as he begins to write this novel, things begin to happen that lead him in very strange directions, and it turns out that the strangeness in this village may not be quite as over as he imagined. So it seems kind of basic, kind of straightforward. It sounds like a one of those like childhood summer of horror stories. Um, it has like a more the mystery vibe to it. Um, there is a magical realism component and all of that, and that's very true. Like all of that very much does apply to this book, but oh my god, this book is so much more, and it's all about the structure. So the novel, we spend the majority of the time with Wilder Harlow, who is like we spend the two summers that he lived there. Um, we experience the events that he experienced um, surrounding the Dagger Man, who is this serial killer that was stalking the village, and then we see how this encounter traumatized him deeply, and how it shaped him as the person he would become. And then we follow him after a short time skip where he goes to college and he meets this person, and he begins to write a book based on the events of the summer, which this person who he meets steals and decides to publish as their own work. And the story just kind of devolves from there. It starts to shift with different characters becoming the character, and that's where the incredible structure of this novel comes in. So this novel is recursive. Like what you're reading is not what you should initially. What you're reading isn't necessarily the real story that's being told here. Like this story is actually like it's almost like an onion. There's layers and layers of story here, and as the novel unfolds, like layers are peeled back one after the other, and you realize that not only are things not what they seem initially, but with each layer that peeled back, you get a different twist, a different take on what happened, and regarding the people that the story is being told about, and not just that, you get a different your conception of the summer that you spent almost the entire first half of the book reading about it, with this encounter and everything. It begins to shift and change, and just and you it's very much an unreliable narrative kind of thing, because our our knowledge of these events is driven by um, Wilder's POV. But Wilder's POV isn't necessarily the correct POV. Um, like we are formed by his, we are our conceptions are played with by his biases, by his view on things, and so. And as the layers get peeled back and we find out more and more about the other kids and the surrounding events and these kind of things, it becomes more and more clear that things are definitely not what they seem. And like I said, there's a very heavy meta component to this book, because like not only is the story that we're initially reading the one that's necessarily being told, that's necessarily what this book is all about. Um, throughout the novel, Catriona Ward just has fun playing with herself as the writer and with you as the reader. Like, she puts in things here that seem a little too convenient, a little too straightforward, and she'll have the characters make fun of that, at how convenient things seem to be playing out. And then the twists start to come, and you understand why they'll say why they're making these comments, and why these particular bits of dialogue are in here. And even when things like the events of the book, when they seem just a little too convenient or just a little bit out there or so, there's always another twist that adds so much context to that it just blows your mind. Like, it's a very meta book. Catriona Ward, she just has fun with this one. And when those twists started to come, like, I was just mind blown. Like, I couldn't stop going down the rabbit hole with this book. Like, it's, like I said, it's recursive. Every time you think you understand what's going on, there's another layer to peel back, something else to understand. I think the ending, I did, after I finished reading it, I had to stop, take a break, for my thoughts, and then go back and just kind of skim through the entire, toward the ending of the book again, just to wrap my mind around everything that I experienced. It was such a trip, such a joy. Like, absolutely incredible. What else can I see? There's one of the other things that she does in this book, like that's very meta, that she kind of plays with, is just like, there's a lot of parallelism going on, and there's a lot of parallelism that goes on between the stories. Maybe I shouldn't discuss that because that might be getting into spoiler territory. You know what? I don't want to get more into this book because it's just an incredible horror book. It is very much horror. Like, there's some dark scenes painted here. And we do get into detail with some gory details with some of the things that happen, and it's really not. It's brutal. Like, one of my personal things, like, I don't like to read about what humans do to other humans. Like, that's just a little too realistic for me. Like, I would read about a monster ripping apart people and be fine because there is that supernatural element for it, allows me to disassociate. But when it involves, like, people on people, like, it's outside my comfort zone, and it's not necessarily something I want to expose and read myself to. Like, there's enough dark crap going on in the world without me subjecting myself to that. And the things that go on here was enough to make me quite uncomfortable, which is a testament to just how well Catriona Ward is at writing this kind of stuff. Obviously, well, not obviously, but this isn't my first novel from her, but this is without a doubt the best one I've read from her. Like, I read The House on Needle Street, and that one was very different from this. Like, if you've read House on Needle Street and you're judging her based on that, this book is a whole different beast. Like, this book is very meta, it's very creative. She takes the whole, like I said, she takes the whole childhood summer horror thing, and she puts a huge twist on it. Like, it's just a really creative twist. I would not be surprised if this book wins the award. I would not argue if this book wins the award. Like, right as of now, I think for me I wouldn't be surprised if this, like, either this book or Tananarive Jew's The Reformatory takes the award. Like, those are two incredible books. Those are two incredible horror books. But yeah, like even that, like, even describing this book as simply horror, it feels like just being a bit too simplistic about describing what it does. Look, I think I've raved enough about this. It's an incredible book, incredibly well written. I don't know if this is it's certainly one of the most creatively written genre novels I've ever read. Like, if you're a fan of non-linear structures and creative twists and these kind of things, you really need to check this book out, especially with spooky season coming up. Like, this would make a perfect October read. And yeah, you know what? I think that's all I have to say about this book. Just go check it out. It's worth the ride. It's an absolute trip. I think I'm gonna have to read everything that Catriona Ward ever wrote now. Like, even though horror isn't really my genre, I think I'm gonna have to read everything she ever wrote now. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Looking Glass Sound. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.